to the red, to the brown, to the yellow, to the white, to the black, to the Republicans, to the Democrats, to the saints, to the sinners, to the losers, to the winners, to the strong, to the weak, to the bold, to the meek, to the haters, to the naysayers, to the living, to the late, to the unsung, to the great, to the seers, to the Moors, to the rich, to the poor. Salutations, brothers and sisters. I am Orapotist Maximus, orator, poet, and activist. I am the poet laureate, the chief spokesperson and founder of Jonah, an acronym for the Judge of Nations Advocacy Headquarters. Today I'm here to announce the official formation of the Jonah movement. In all sincerity, I think it ambitious, but at the same time perhaps imprudent to start a new organization or movement from scratch. I am of the persuasion that we as a people cannot and should not continue to waste precious time reinventing the wheel. I believe strongly that as a student of history, that the key to the black man and black woman's rise and liberation can already be found in the collective wisdom of our ancestors, our past and present leaders and luminaries alike. I believe that all of our problems can be solved. All of our questions are ours for the asking, if we only take the time to sit at their feet, glean from their wisdom and knowledge. I stand here today with your support to build an organization, a mass movement, if you will, with intent and mindset to build on the successes of the past. Those great organizations, like the Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network, the Reverend Jesse Jackson National Rainbow Coalition, Malcolm X Afro-American Unity, Dr. Martin Luther King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Marcus Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association, W.E.B. Du Bois, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, Julian Barnes, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Commission, revolutionaries like Huey Newton, Stokely Carmichael, the original Black Panther Party, Dr. Khalid Muhammad of the New Black Panther Party. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the lawyer warrior, Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, and his assistant, Dr. Amy Jenkins, the Movement for Black Power. My goal is to build a movement from a black nationalist point of view and platform, inclusive of the whole human family, in the spirit of the Niagara movement, the Pan-African movement, the Black Muslim movement, the Civil Rights movement, the Black Power movement, and the Black Lives Matter movement. We borrow and build on the success of all these organizations and movements, all designed for the rise and liberation of all oppressed people, mainly the dark people of this continent, caught up in the hills and hells of North America. We are here today to begin to launch the mark, to witness the birth, the inception of Jonah, again the Judge of Nations Advocacy Headquarters, and the Jonah Movement. The Jonah Project and now the Jonah Movement is a test and testament to the current state of the hearts and minds of white America. Its simple objective is to give white Americans the opportunity to be on the right side of history, to reconcile the present with the past, to reconcile the harsh history of African American chattel slavery in this country and its present-day ramifications and repercussions on black life. Also, to focus on the plight and the disintegration or the more accurately the disintegration of the Native Americans, the indigenous people of this continent. As a moral leader, my goal is to bring awareness to what I feel to be God's judgment on America and what she must do to be saved, if indeed she can be saved at all. My goal is to build a coalition of all people, recognizing, like Dr. King said, that our destiny is inextricably tied to your destiny, and that whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. We cannot walk alone. Today we stand in a junction, a necessary turning point, a boiling point, if you will, in race relations in America as we know it. We ask the question, is America like the wicked city of Nineveh, the people of Noah, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah? Is America deserving a final opportunity to make right the wrongs of past generations? As a man of God, I recognize the biblical precedents, and that it only right that any so-called new generation should be afforded a small window of opportunity to make right wrongs of past generations. To offer white America, but when I say white America, I'm largely speaking to the lingering racist element of white people, the stubborn, those unwilling to learn from the errors of their ways, those whites who stand in the way of us achieving the freedom, justice, and equality we deserve, those whites bound and handcuffed, unable to sever themselves from the dark traditions of the past. To offer white America proposition to get right or to get left. To get right, I mean to reconcile, repair, and repay. Or get left, I mean to face the immediate and inevitable separation and relocation of the dark people of this continent, or face the sovereign judgment of God on America. America, white America, I charge you, guilty of the decimation of the native tribes, guilty of perpetrating heinous, ugly, despicable, unprovoked crimes, unfair and inhumane treatment of the dark people of this continent. America, white America, you must repent. You must rebuild the world of this indigenous people. Restore and repay descendants of slaves, African Americans, their reparations in which you are legally and morally responsible for which this responsibility has gone and done. This is not a request, but a mandate. I contend that we're in a relationship with white America. Not a new relationship, but a relationship that existed from the inception of this nation. A 400-plus-year-old relationship, a dysfunctional, abusive, and toxic relationship. This loveless, unholy matrimony between the dark and light people of this continent has run its course. America, you're like a deadbeat father, in bed but not in love. You have produced children that you're unwilling to care for, but your law insists. Your law insists. So don't be hypocrites. If a man lays down with a woman and produces a child, he is responsible for that child for 18 years or to when it comes of age. We African Americans particularly are like your children, the offspring of an illegitimate relationship, the fruit of your loins. You bought us, you sold us, you owe us. Also, I'm advocating, if this is not done, if our demands go unheard, then this will mean the end of the United States of America as you know it. I said, if our demands go unheard, this would mean the end of the United States of America as you know it. We, the dark people of this continent, will be forced to form our own nation, a nation within a nation sensitive to our needs, aims, ambitions, and well-being as a people. To divvy up America, no longer the United States, but the divided states of New America, formed from 5 nations, New Native, New Africa, New Hispaniola, New Asia, and New Europe. 5 separate and equal, independent, yet interdependent peoples. We can do it, black man. We can do it, black woman. A nation of our own. But the invisible chains must be broken. the psychological dependency upon the white man, complements of the conditioning of slavery, is the last chain which must be broken. We already have the tools for success. We are the craftsmen, the artists, the artisans, architects, engineers, doctors, lawyers, carpenters, electricians, entertainers, sportsmen, nurses, thinkers, tinkers, and theologians. We can police our own. We need not be like dogs shot down in the streets of North America. No more strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Freedom, my brothers and sisters, is sweet, but freedom means sweat, and if we gotta sweat, let's sweat for ourselves. We stand united, yet on one accord, under the red, black, and green flag. Red is for the blood we must shed for our freedom. Black is for the color of our majestic and noble race. And green is the color of our beautiful motherland. Gentrification. This gentrification is an act of war. This land grab, like the Native American land grab, is intended to lock us out of American society, so we'll just simply die on the vine. This disintegration is the formula for our disintegration, making no provisions for children of slaves. This systematic displacement of poor people, relegating us back to ghettos and slums of North America, is not an option. We have had enough, America, white America. You have had the luxury of treating us wrong all too long. Your lack of spirituality and morality. You are bankrupt of decency, fair play, and far as it comes to our people. Again, this loveless, unholy matrimony must come to an end. The divorce papers have been served. We cite you with irreconcilable differences, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for a people to dissolve the political bands that connect them to one another, and to assume amongst the powers of the earth the separate and equal station, to which the laws of nature and nature's God, to declare the cause which compel them to the separation. Finally, we want all of our people in your massive manifold industrial prison compounds set free and released into our care. These prisoners of war. We will discuss those terms at a later time. America, white America, get right or get left. Again, leaving you as a foregone conclusion. You have never, historically or otherwise, done right by our people, and it's perhaps insane or perhaps even ludicrous for us to believe that you will change. But again, as a righteous man, I believe before there's a judgment, there must be a Jonah. I've done a lot of soul searching, I've done a lot of thinking, I've come to the conclusion that we as a people got to continue to press forward. Continue to press forward. But what do I know? I'm just a poet.